Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I hope that this video finds you well. War. We are officially in a civil war. The Democrats, the far-left extremists, the Antifa, domestic terrorists have declared war against Trump. The Trump administration, against Christians, against those of you and I who want secure borders, who want a great economy, who want freedom. They've declared war, and we're going to cover that in this video. Also, a senior prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia refuses to charge corrupt New York attorney Letitia James for mortgage fraud. Also, we just got a name. Somebody in the first Trump administration was secretly working for Trump as an advisor, but at the same time meeting with Adam Schiff and helping him build the fake Russia collusion hoax against Trump. We're going to cover that. Also, we've got Roger Stone warning us about the officially launched plan to trigger a race war / civil war in the United States. And we're going to talk about what Chicago and their leadership are doing, telling the police in Chicago to not help and even to stand down when federal police agents are being attacked, harassed, assaulted, and much worse. We're going to cover all of that in this video. Do me a huge favor. Smash a thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from? And if you're still thinking about Charlie Kirk as much as I am, if you still miss him, if you still pray for his family, drop an American flag in memory of Charlie Kirk in the comments. And really quickly, before we continue, the sponsor of today's video and the channel overall, ladies and gentlemen, Verity Metals. When it comes to real money, not this fiat money that is printed out of thin air, backed by absolutely nothing, then sent overseas to fund wars that have nothing to do with you, but then they tax you to repay the money that they sent overseas without asking you. Well, this is where gold, silver, and platinum come into play. This is real money. This is constitutional money. This is tangible assets in your hands, real currency. Verity Metals are people of faith. They are patriots and Trump supporters. Small family-owned office in Glendale, Arizona. You can go check them out. Also, get additional gold and silver when you tell them that Vlad sent you. So call or text 888-328-6105. Links are down below in the description. Thank you so much. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. First things first. Senior prosecutor in Eastern District of Virginia refuses to charge corrupt New York Attorney General Letitia James. Really, I'm going to talk about this one really quickly and we're going to move on. So, this is the issue in Washington, D.C. I don't want to hear anymore, well, Vlad, the officers are good. The FBI agents are good. It's the top that's bad. I'm sorry, I don't believe it anymore. I just don't believe it. Because for 4 years under Joe Biden, we watched FBI agents. We've watched ICE agents. We've watched Border Patrol stand down and not do their job because they were given an order to not do it. Or FBI agents would go kick down front doors of pastors, of pro-life grandmas, grandpas, and conservatives because they were given the order to go kick down a grandma's door. But now they're getting orders to indict Letitia James, James Comey, Perp Wacom. They are refusing to do so. It's all corrupt. It all needs to be demolished and built from scratch. Now, from here, we're jumping onto my Twitter page. I want to show you this amazing video of Stephen Miller just absolutely destroying a woke reporter over stupid questions.
3 months from now, yes, when we're having this conversation in December, what do you see the end game being? Because you clearly don't have trust in some certain local and state law enforcement entities. And so where do you see the National Guard? Where do you see the military going? You suggested that if the courts rule against you, you will find other ways to use the military. That would lead me to believe that there's a conversation about the Insurrection Act that is taking place. What should Americans expect over the next 3.5 years, understanding that there is a real likelihood that those same local law enforcement and state officials will never, ever cooperate with your efforts? Should people expect the National Guard and the military in their streets over the next 3.5 years?
Well, I think that most, I mean, so to be clear, you talk about the National Guard in the streets. So right now in Portland, they're talking about having National Guard deployed to secure a federal building in Portland. And so there's a lot of elements to your question, and I'll try to get to all of them. But when I hear comments from Democrat officials saying that this violence from the left is being provoked, their word, by the presence of federal officials, think about how broken of a sentence that is, right?
Really quickly, just think about, and when Stephen Miller said that, it makes so much sense. The Democrats are saying that just because there are federal agents protecting a federal building, they are provoking the left to act violently. Yesterday, really quickly, and we'll continue with the video. Yesterday, I watched a TED Talk from a European psychological scientist, a major in psychology. And he talked about politics of the United States specifically. He said there's a two-party system. And he said they are so far from each other and they disagree on everything. And he said, I've studied for the last 6 years as to why. And this psychologist major came to the conclusion of this. In America, we have a two-party system. We have the Republicans and the Democrats. He said the Democrats are, how do I feel? Why do I feel about this issue? Why do I feel about this person? And they just act out of emotion. It's all about how they feel today, right now. It's all about me, myself, my truth, and how I feel. Completely emotionally driven. He said, while the Republicans and the conservatives are all about, okay, this is how I feel, but what are the numbers? What are the statistics? What are the facts? So even European psychologist majors are looking at America and saying the Democrats run on emotions and the Republicans run on facts. They need data. They want numbers. They want concrete evidence. And I couldn't agree more. And this is why when you hear from the Democrats saying stupid things like, well, their presence incited violence. What? What? Presence? Or your words are violent. Words being violent? Come here. If you think words are violent, what are you going to do if I smack you in the teeth?
There's if tomorrow we went to, say, Dothan, Alabama, and there was a federal building there, and we put 100 police officers in front of it, they wouldn't be attacked. Nobody would throw rocks at them. Nobody would try to shoot them. Nobody would do anything. They would say, hello, good morning. Maybe they get them a cup of coffee before they go out for the shift for the day. They'd ask, how are your kids doing? How are your kids doing? The fact that Democrats think that their own base cannot contain their desire to inflict violence upon the mere sight. In other words, National Guard's not being sent there proactively. They're being sent there reactively to defend ICE officers under siege. So in theory, if ICE officers were in the building and the National Guard was in the building and nobody was violently attacking them, the only thing that you would see is there's a building, there's ICE officers, there's guardsmen. The violence is entirely rioters choosing to show up and wage violence at a specific federal building. They've handed out flyers. I saw one at Deeper Flyer recently, and it said, we need to mobilize around the Broadview facilities, this is in Chicago, to shut down ICE. So what does that mean? When they say we're going to mobilize to shut down ICE, what are they saying? They're saying they're going to carry out insurrection against the federal government by using force, obstructive force, to keep ICE officers from going out and conducting arrests. Would we ever tolerate this with any other law enforcement agency? If we said shut down the FBI and say, let's pick one of the organizations that the media might understand better. So let's say the Proud Boys said we're going to shut down the FBI, and they went and they formed a human obstructive wall in front of the entry and exit to the Washington field office of the FBI, and they attack anybody coming and going. How many nights do you think that situation would persist for? Not even one, let alone over 100. We all understand this to be true. So to your other question, yes, the president has multiple statutory authorities under federal law to secure a federal building. And so when a court issues an
not demo rats, demon rats. The Democrats are demon rats. They're part rat, part demon, disgusting. Okay, if you're not running straight on emotion, why the heck would you get a nose ring and purple hair? Oh, all right. Really quickly, before I play you the clip of Roger Stone warning that's the Democrats and their official race war is here, I want to show you this. CIA Director Mike Pompeo covertly granted Adam Schiff access to raw intelligence logs and intelligence communications right out of a small room in Langley for Schiff to use in an attempt to overthrow the sitting president of the United States. James O'Keefe has come out with a report. Mike Pompeo was always a traitor. This is why we see Mike Pompeo flying to Ukraine and kicking it with the Nazis. We've literally saw that 3 months ago. He flew to Ukraine to kick it with the Nazis. Mike Pompeo was a snake. He always was a snake. I always had a weird feeling about him, even during Trump's first administration. But then when all the crap he talked about Trump after the 2020 election, rigged election. That's right. On this show, we call things as they are. It was a rigged, stolen election. 3, 2, 1, watch this.
Once again, you are absolutely right. I think we see this as the radical left gets more and more desperate and more hysterical as Trump moves forward in his effort to execute the largest single deportation of illegal, dangerous criminals in history. As it's very clear that they can't win at the ballot box, as it's very clear that they failed to steal the last election, they now resort to violence, which has always been the plan. We see it in Portland. We see it in Chicago, which is really ground zero. We will shortly see it in every urban area in the country. That police chief is a joke. I mean, I had Richard Brezak, the former Chicago police commissioner, on my show. He's the last non-political police commissioner in Chicago. He points out that the Chicago Police Department has become completely and totally woke, that they have no capability, nor do they have any intention of protecting the people. Chicago's sanctuary policies.
Well, over the weekend, they sent out officers not to support, but to be there 2 riot zones without gas masks.
Well, and they specifically told police officers to stand down and not assist federal immigrations and custom enforcement agents who are surrounded by hostile crowds. So what you have
and
is
that's failure to render aid. That's illegal.
But Donald Trump is up to this task. I think he completely understands it. It's funny how history repeats itself. I remember when President Nixon had to deal with the Weather Underground, bombing buildings, killing people.
Who's this crackhead in the comments, Lauren? I will lose my mind if rogue judges won't let Trump turn our cities into permanent war zones. Have you been to Portland? I have family that lives in Vancouver, Washington, and in Portland, Oregon. It is a crackhead, Democrat-run crap hole. Whatever Democrats touch turns to crap. And for the people complaining, oh, inflation is still high. Under Biden, it got up to 9.7%. It's at 4.1. When Biden left office, it was 4.9. Unemployment dropped by 0.5%. Interest dropped 0.25% under Trump. You want Trump to fix 4 years of death, destruction, and communist rule in less than 10 months? 4 years of crackheads and trannies running our government? Kennedy replaced a fat tranny Do you guys understand who our health secretary was under Biden? A man who thought he's a woman. A man dressed as a woman, weighing nearly 300 pounds, was our health secretary for 4 years. Generals in the military were fat trannies. You think that's going to get fixed? Everything's going to get fixed? Our economy was ran by a dude that was an assistant manager at a JCPenney. Joe Biden's #1 economic advisor was a guy who used to work as an assistant manager for a JCPenney store. Not even stores. Store without a S. One location. And Joe Biden was like, oh, you used to be an assistant manager at a JCPenney? You can run America's economy? You Democrats are crackheads. Oh my goodness. Hey, if you think that Portland is safe, I invite you to go to Portland with me and walk through downtown. But we have to record everything. You guys are just, dude, I'm sorry. Trump derangement syndrome is the COVID, is the mental COVID of the Democrats. It's just like in there, just going, just, churning your brain into mush. All you guys have is mush. And look, if you're still a Democrat, let me just say this and we'll continue with the video. The Democrat Party is the party of slavery, Jim Crow, KKK, segregation, hate, and war. Democrat Party is the party that said, what do you mean free the slaves? Who's going to pick my crops? Thank God for, and I mean this, thank God for the rise of the Republican Party, who said, you know what, Democrats? Stop treating black humans as personal property. They are human beings loved by God. But your party said no and literally went to civil war because you didn't want to release your black property. So shut it down.
Army, the Black Panthers. That's the last time they tried this. They're trying it now again. But they're increasingly desperate because they have no constituency among the people. There is no constituency for health care for illegals paid for by U.S. taxpayers. There's no constituency for their whole transgendered nonsense. The once great Democrat Party has been destroyed, and now they give lip service to the most radical agenda you can imagine.
The government ears Alex Jones.
So what are we learning from the Democrats and how they are acting and reacting to Trump trying to make America safe, trying to clean up the streets, trying to get crime under control? Well, ladies and gentlemen, like Roger Stone just said, they can't win at the ballot box, so they're going to burn down the country. They couldn't beat Charlie Kirk in a debate, so they murdered him. Do you think that the trans LGBT propaganda for the last 2 decades, do you think it was an accident? No. They programmed these people. Oh, affirm them. Celebrate them. Give them a whole month. Bianca, I'm about to respond to your very good. I love what you just said in your comment. Give me a second. I'm going to respond. But think about this. For 2 decades, they said, affirm them, love them, give them health care and hormone blockers. And so what happens to a child when every time a child asks for something, you give it to them? You obey them, you run to them, you buy them whatever they want. You spoil this child. They are emotionally and mentally unstable. They don't know how to act when someone says no to their demands. They don't know how to respond when they say, I want that. And then you say, no. What do? They kick. First they kick, scream, then they kick, then they fall on the floor and like a tweaker, start tweaking out. But then they start hitting the parent. Well, what if an adult is emotionally just as unstable, mentally just as unstable as that spoiled toddler? Well, they're not going to throw their fists and punches. They're going to go get a rifle, and they are going to murder somebody on a college campus or in a Christian school, kind of like the training in Minnesota a month and a half ago. Imagine how evil one must be to go into a children's school and murder babies. The last 7 out of 8 school shooters were trans, non-binary, or gender fluid, whatever that means. Look, this is fluid. What are you? I don't want your fluids. You can don't even tell me about your fluids. I don't care. You're not my wife. But the point I'm making is they've been spoiled. And if you don't accept me, then you're evil. And so what they have done is they raised up an army of spoiled, emotionally and mentally unstable people who are now seeing this massive shift in the country to the right, to conservatism, to Christianity, to faith, to family principles, and they just can't take it. We are not bowing to them anymore. We are not celebrating you anymore. Matter of fact, just like you don't like us in your spaces, we don't want you in our spaces unless you repent and change your life. Just like in 2016, 2017, you're wearing a MAGA hat, you're getting kicked out of restaurants, you were screaming, "You're not wanted here, leave our spaces." Guess what? What goes around comes around. You're no longer welcome. We gave you everything. You got your own flag. Straight people don't have a flag. We gave you your own month. Straight people don't have a month. You got your own TV shows. I don't got a TV show. You got your own products in stores. I don't see any straight pride products in stores. You got these corporations celebrating you. Well, who's going to celebrate the fact that I actually contributed something to the society? Me and my wife are raising 4 beautiful daughters who are conservative, who are respectful, who honor God and family and conservative American values. What have you done except walk around a pride parade with your ding dong flipping back and forth in front of children? Nothing. So what comes around. We're tired. We're done. Bianca said one of the curses as a nation is where immigrants take presidents over citizens. Democrat Party is a curse. Sexual immorality is forced on the kids. Amen. Hallelujah. And you are hearing an amen. And I agree with you as an immigrant. As an immigrant from an immigrant family who came here at the age of 5 or 6, I know nothing else, right? I'm almost 34, but I came here as 5. I know nothing else. I started first grade here. I graduated here. I got married here. My kids are all born here. I'm a proud citizen. I know nothing else. I agree with you. Immigrants are not supposed to get a penny from the government. When we came to America, this is before the Obama phones. This is before the EBT for everyone, cash for everyone, and free housing for everyone. We came here after 5 years of knocking and waiting, going through the paperwork, going through all the hoops, background checks and everything. They said, okay, come on in. For 8 years, we're going to watch you and make sure you don't get in trouble. And then after 8 years, you can apply to be a citizen, which takes another 2 years. We went through everything spotless, perfectly. Mwah, bon appetit, perfectly. But we were never given a handout. You know what we got? An opportunity. We came here as white Christians from a majority Asian Muslim country. We were the minority. We were the 1%. We were the outsiders. Kyrgyzstan, right next to Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. Did we whine? Did we say we're oppressed? No. No. And then when we came here, we said, thank you for the opportunity, and worked, went to school. My dad started a roofing job. My mom and my brothers would go at night, deliver newspapers. And in the evening, my parents would go to ESL, English Second Language, while the kids went to school during the day. America gave us an opportunity, and we took it. No immigrant shouldn't get even a single penny from the federal government. If America lets you in, it's the only thing it owes you is an opportunity. And what you should do with that opportunity, I'm speaking to all the immigrants. You get a job, or you start a business, you pay taxes, you employ American citizens, and you make this country better than how you found it. As a thank you. As a thank you. You fight for election integrity so that this country does not become the shithole that we fled from. Yes, I fled from a shithole country, and so did you if you're an immigrant. Because if your country was not a shithole, you would still be there, but yet you're here. You don't jump over the fence if the grass is greener in your backyard. If the grass is so green in your yard, why are you going to your neighbor's yard? Doesn't make sense, does it? So, and then you have all these people, these Democrats who for 20 years now, for 2 decades, have been affirmed, confirmed, transformed, other kind of forms. I don't know what else to say. And then what happens was, now there's this radical shift. We're going back to conservatism, going back to Christian values. And what's happening? They just can't stand it. By the way, guys, silver is up. This is just the beginning. They've been telling us that silver is going to it's the new gold. Silver is the new gold. It's going to get up to, I think in the next maybe 5 years, it's going to hit around $500. I'm not saying it's going to happen 100%, but just look at what silver is doing. And why are all the BRICS countries buying up more silver than gold? Because silver has been undervalued for way too long. There's actually more gold in the world than silver, if you look at to mine. So, as I'm wrapping this up, I'm going to give them another shout out, because this is how we keep the show running. As you guys know, they demonetize or refuse to monetize most of my videos. But this is, again, these people are great. They're Trump supporters. They're people of faith. Gold, silver, platinum, IRA, 401k, any retirement plan, anything in between, they got you covered. If you want just a single piece of silver or a roll, they got it. And here's the best thing about them. Verity Metals is the only company in the nation with self-storage IRA options. Meaning if you have an IRA or 401k, usually, if you go through anybody else, they're going to just make you store it halfway across the country. You don't have access to it. It's mixed with other people's stuff. Not them. It's going to, they work very well to have it close to your home. You have a key. You can go see it whenever you want. It's right there. They even have much better options to where it's closer than your front door. 888-328-6105. Tell them Vlad sent you. They'll take care of you. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Have a great day. Stay tuned. I got more content coming up soon. Love you guys. Stay blessed. Pray for President Trump. Pray for our nation. I'll see you soon.